Hey YouTube land, Budget Nerd here. Are you looking to grab a mesh Wi-Fi system? Rockspace has now thrown their best contender into the Budget Nerd ring. Let's see how they do. In this corner, we have the Rockspace RSD0610. It clocks in at $140. This contender is supposed to be able to cover up to 6,000 square feet of space in wonderful Wi-Fi goodness, but I do think that number is a best case scenario. The system can be used as a router or as just access points, so if this is all you buy for your network, or if you just use them as access points, you're covered. In the box, you get papers with words on them, the mesh Wi-Fi boxes, which is a relief. They look cool. Well, as cool as a black cube can look, I guess. This fabric on the top is neat, but it's also an interesting choice. You get each box's power supply, which has a normal barrel plug. You get a ribbon Ethernet cable, and the rest you can probably guess. All this stuff works with Alexa, I'm told, and it's covered with a 1-year warranty. Once you install the RS Wi-Fi app, setting them up is pretty easy. I wired the first unit, and then just let the other two connect wirelessly. As far as looks go, they could be worse. The MESHFORCE M3s I reviewed last year were white, and were a bit more elegant, but if you have a lot of black appliances, these would fit in better. In the app, you can see the status of the units, and check the details of the devices that are connected. Under Settings, you can see the customizations and options. Now, for those of you who've seen the MESHFORCE M3 review I did a while back, this app should look familiar. In fact, it should look exactly the same. Just a symptom of companies collaborating, but it makes me wonder if the hardware in the mesh units are the same, or at least similar. The options in the app are decent, but just like the other kit, I would have liked to have seen a few more options. If you plan on using these as just access points, it's not a big deal. Next, we can check out coverage. On the first floor, the two mesh units are here, and the coverage was good, with an average decibel rating of 53, while the MESHFORCE M3s got 56. Lower is better. On the second floor, the mesh unit was here, and it way outperformed the MESHFORCE M3s by a good margin, with an average decibel rating of 42, while the MESHFORCE could only manage a 60. Pings were better at 18 milliseconds versus the MESHFORCE's 33 milliseconds. The Rockspace mesh system also killed it with link speeds in the high 500s. It even held up well against AX21 I reviewed last December when it comes to link speeds. One area it did fall behind on was speed tests. Even though the link speeds looked good, internet speed tests wouldn't hit above 100 megabits per second on my laptop. On my cell phone, it would reach better speeds, but nowhere near the 300 megabits per second that I pay for. My normal router hits around 280 megabits per second. A file transfer over my network hit a max of about 12 megabytes per second, or 96 megabits per second, which matches the max speed it hit on the internet speed test. The same file transfer on my normal Wi-Fi got upwards of 72 megabytes per second, a huge difference. So these speeds are plenty for your everyday internet browsing and streaming, but it's not very fast. In fact, slow enough that I personally wouldn't use them. I transfer a lot of data on my network and would benefit from quicker Wi-Fi. The MESHFORCE M3s kind of fit in the same boat. For these ones, there also doesn't seem to be a way to separate the 5.0 and 2.4 GHz bands with different names, which could make life easier, like adding smart devices to your network. There's a setting in the app that allows you to add easily devices using 2.4, but separating them I find to be easier. Despite this, and the slower speeds, I never had any issues with the setup. So, should you get the Rockspace mesh system? Well, if you want decent coverage over a large area and don't have to have super fast Wi-Fi, then it's a good option. If you're after a mesh system, then jump on it, link below. But if you don't care what you buy, I would recommend the TP-Link Archer AX21 instead. It's what I use. I did a review of it a while ago. It has more features, coverage is at least comparable, and when it comes to speed, kicks the pants off the Rockspace mesh system. It's also cheaper. The Rockspace mesh system isn't bad, but it's just not very fast. So let us know in the comments what you think of it, and thanks for watching.